Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Here comes mid-session retest 68, 61, 68, 62. I would imagine that they try retesting overnight highs around this time. It would be pretty strange if they didn't, especially considering where they took it to just ahead. I noticed that at the money, slightly out of the money premiums aren't really moving anymore, so that is something to probably take note of. Just very, 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 very quickly, because I have a few positions open. On the daily, we are stuck in an inside range. Based on a real-time basis, though, we did sustain those. We did sustain the overnight lows, so. I noticed that on SPX we're stuck in inside, SPY we're stuck inside. So this is part of the issue, is that these were stuck inside just today, but ES wasn't, or ES was yesterday. These two weren't. So it is kind of working against us in that sense of things. But the things that we have working in our favor, like we talked about, was that 68.17 low. So technically speaking, from a real-time basis, it did take out this low. And then the highs from yesterday occurred in real time. So, and then we also opened at 68.29. So these are all factors that could help us break out of an inside range today. Worst case scenario is that they keep us stuck and situated to reset midweek conditions, which means resetting where they opened. Okay, for end of day today. That being said, we could just kind of get stuck in these ranges in here, which would be the absolute worst case scenario. So mid-session is close to now, and I would prefer that it's before 1, just because these highs and lows were taken out during real time. Does that make sense? So like today's low was taken out from yesterday's real-time low. This high, which is what we would need to get out of like this inside range, was during real time yesterday. So it would be more preferred that the mid-session breaks happen during real time mid-session hours. That being said, it's closer to that 12:36, 12:45, 12:48, 1 p.m. window. Does that make sense, guys? Hi, thank you. Okay, I won't be streaming for long today though, because I do have a few positions open, aside from ES, that I would need to manage, but I will stick around for mid-session just because we had some good odds here. 68.62 being retested, guys, right at 12:48. See if they can try getting that break. I think 68.62.25 is the high. And I did mention this morning that if they break it, all they really have to break it by is just nearly a fraction of 0.25 or 0.5. So 68.62.50, 68.62.75. 68.62.75 was extremely calculated. There it is. 68.62.75. That's exactly what I said that they would break it by this morning if they did come back and break. And look, it's right at 12:48. That's the exact range that I said that they'll break it by, because this was very calculated. I'm just going to copy paste here again so you guys can see it. This is why I was saying make sure you guys study this, because if they come back and take out highs, this is what they'll take it out by. That's pretty insane. 68.62.75 was exact range on that high a day break, meaning that they could easily come back and retest that 68.63, putting our ranges in play now for these weekly high retests. 68.63.50 was yesterday's highs. 68.64.50 is weekly highs. And the best time of day to do it would be during this interval right here. So during mid-session, which is now. We're almost out of the inside bar here. What do you guys think? You think that they break it? Quickly, 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 because we're like hovering right at these points here. From a real-time basis, they've technically broken. From these overnight ranges, they haven't. So 68, 63.50, 68, 64.50 has yet to break. And if they keep it stuck inside, we'll know just based on how they react during this time period here, okay? And the overall range around these points in the day too should help us determine the kind of structure breaks that we could see. So if that's 2.75, hold on, I need to set alerts on some of these names. XOM is a huge break, by the way, if it breaks 117.76. So I have some alerts set on that right there. 2.75 range break, I believe, is close to that 68, 65.50 overhead. So far, the way that this is reacting, it seems like they might want to stall. Make sure you guys took at least half off around that 68, 62.75 break, because that is a huge, huge, huge overhead. We can give it about 3 minutes to see if it tries to come back and reclaim and retrace. I have to shut the stream off, guys, at 1. Unfortunately, I can't really stream today. But I did want to cover at least the mid-session potential break. And you guys should have been covering quite a bit off the 686275, 6863. There's the negation bar coming in right here, because there's another window that opens up in a minute to see if they'll retry. I'll probably cover another 25% here if they stall, okay? Just because the rejection the second time could be a lot more aggressive. I put Uber in the chat earlier. This actually had a pretty nice cup and handle break back here. I don't know if any of you guys took it. Bank of America getting 54 break with liquidity. I am long on Bank of America. I did mention to keep both crude and banks on watch this week because they could be some good alternative sectors to the market. Intel was our big winner beginning of the week. I mentioned that one too for... Okay, crypto. I know that crypto people are kind of just dying right here off this. This 86K hold here overnight and 93K break is exactly what this needs to try to recover some of this range. This isn't the, it's not exact, but okay, it's kind of moving in 11-day intervals. Do you guys see this? You guys paying attention? So I am watching this super closely to see where this closes today, okay? Because these are very, very, very important dates Do you see this? Like around these points in turnaround? And if you measure off the actual range low, so this, do you see this 11th bar right here? Okay, this aligns perfectly with yesterday. So this is for sure the point in turnaround for crypto on a calculated range. And then we're going to also mark December 5th. So this could be kind of its next odd of clearing this this area here. I'll just mark this. I don't know who's trading crypto, but anyway, it is a pretty huge spot. So this would be the minimum area you'd want this to close at today to try coming back and retracting this range in here. Okay. Preferably by the 5th. And we did talk about this last week and on Monday, but everything's kind of just hovering here. 54 kind of stalled. I am watching before 1 because the idea here is I want to see if it tries clearing before 1. I feel like if this takes post 1 o'clock, then we're just going to stay stuck. 686325 being tested here. There it is. 6864, 6864, 50. That's a new weekly high, guys. They actually broke it. They finally broke the range. 6865 is the big overhead. This means the core areas can be in play today. And the fact that they did it ahead of 1 o'clock is huge. I would still cover a little bit here just in case they end up stalling a tiny bit. The areas we're looking for are closer to like that 66, 67, 68, with upper core ranges being around the 6871, 6872, 6874. Need to mark the 71 on here. This area has the most confluence that I have highlighted in blue up here. Okay. So, and the goal for this week was we try getting core ranges on the 3rd. 6865 breaks are ideal. This is what's going to help us get to the zone, and even if it's not by tomorrow, at least by next week or mid-month. This is so that we don't stay stuck on wider frames. So for instance, like this 4-day has a really nasty star that could form if we stayed stuck beneath here. Okay, so this is pretty important that they try breaking this range today, because today's the last day. We also looked at the 8-day. Okay, same thing. This could break outside range. I don't think we could do that today. I just feel like that's quite a bit of range for them to break. But anyway, at least closing over these bars would be helpful. And we also figured that this can help keep us extended and maybe flagging through the 16th, because otherwise they could just keep this really, really stuck in here. Okay, and that's what we want to ideally avoid. So this is kind of the box range. So even though we did break weekly highs, there's still a lot of overhead around 6866. 6866 is usually the range break that you need anyway to get out of the means. The means being like this 50 to 64, 65 area. Okay, guys, I have to end the stream because I want to focus on my own stuff today. But hopefully this helped you guys understand the kind of ranges that we're working with today, the kind of odds that we have. I would watch to see where they close this 1259 stick. If this closes above, not necessarily weekly highs, but even above that 6862, 686225, that could give us some better odds for the second half of the session today. But at least we broke weekly highs. That's good. Okay, yeah, see, that's not a bad close. 6863 close is good. It's above that 686275. for 12:59. This could help us the second half of the session today. Okay, so, and I would definitely watch at least since I'm shutting off the stream, watch around 104, 107. It's always good to watch those first 4, 7, 10-minute intervals after 1 o'clock, especially if we have, I don't know if we have auctions this afternoon, but anyway. And just kind of see if they can get that 6865 break. Do you guys have the targets for today? Or no? I did post them. I'll post them again in here. And I'll post them from yesterday's. Do you guys have them from yesterday? And don't forget, this is 66, 68 points on the week. So once we break that range, that's how we have better odds of breaking. So this area had a lot of confluence. I'm just copying and pasting, okay? The areas that had the most confluence. It seems like most of it's around that 68, 76 range. Okay. And trying to find it. Here it is. So it's yesterday. 6862. These are open to close ratios. 6862. Basically this range in here, okay? So if they if they cleared and broke, so lots of presets and offsets around there. And then from Monday's session, where is it? Hold on. And if you guys didn't capture this, I'm honestly annoyed. Because there's no way that you guys did not capture the break. Especially with all that detail I gave this morning and last night and into the close yesterday. And the fact that we had good odds in our favor due to where we opened. Okay, here it is here, I think. What is this? Highest confluence range? Okay. Oh, why is it so hard to find? From yesterday or from Monday? What day was Monday? The 1st? Oh, I mean, whatever. I feel like you guys should have a pretty good idea. I don't know where those ranges went. I feel like they were mostly that 68, 68, 68, 7, 67, 6872, 6869, mostly that range. And I feel like that was, it's these areas here. I can't find the prints, but I found the pictures. I'll just copy paste them from yesterday because these areas had the most confluence. I just don't know where it went. But anyway, these are the core confluence ranges from today. So did they trigger 6-6? Yeah, they did. Nice. And just ahead of this point here. Okay. I don't really care what they do now. If they trigger at 6-6, that's good. Ideally, we want 6872. That would be even better. Thanks, David. Okay, I need to shut this